Did you guys know that Mr. Bean is an experienced cryptocurrency holder? Judging by that footage, it certainly seems like he is. We've been here before, we're gonna be here again. And it's nothing new. And it's almost boring, but no, it's not. It's exciting. It is exciting. If we have a look at the market, we see what's going on. Potentially at the start of a bounce back, we've still got a long way to bounce to get back to where we were. But it's certainly nice to see stuff like NEO up 20%, OMG up 16%, BitConnect 12%, Monero 13%, just everything in the green, recovering slightly. Still a long way to go. But if you have a look at the 7-day market, get some perspective. Bitcoin is down 5% week on week. Ethereum, of course, it always takes a battering. So the thing about Ethereum is, while the week will show down 17%, month on month, it's probably still up. But Ethereum always takes a battering when bad news happens or bad news comes out. And a lot of ICOs hold a lot of Ether. Now, these people didn't invest or speculate their own funds into Ether. They were given Ether for their project. And they need that money to raise capital for improving their projects, ideally. Not to scam us. Ideally. So at any one point, any ICO can decide to sell all the Ether that they've been given. And if they decide to just fat finger it, sell it all, you could have a crash like we experienced a month or two ago on GDAX, where there was a huge sell order for Ethereum. A lot of people lost a lot of money with stop loss orders. And that just comes down to people who aren't really speculating with Ether. They just hold a lot of Ether because they were given it. They could decide to hold on to it because they want more money, could decide because they believe in the project, or they could just need to shift it because they need to raise funds for their project, which is absolutely fair enough. So when bad news comes out, a lot of these people will decide to sell their Ether. So that contributes to losses. Of course, I can't just blame them only, but maybe they're a big cause behind it. If we have a look at this, we can see someone who is trying to time the market and get in at the right time. We can see that's a pretty hard thing to do correctly. Very difficult. Although I did buy some coins last night and it was a really good entry point, generally speaking, it's more advisable to do dollar cost averaging, but that's up to you to decide what you think is best. I'm wondering just how much people care about Ethereum news these days, simply because there's been a lot of positive news out of the Ethereum camp. It doesn't really seem to do anything with regards to the price. However, on the Ethereum GitHub, we can see what I would describe as very bullish news. The Raiden upgrade has been deployed on a test network. So it's just on a, shall we call, a sandbox of the Ethereum blockchain, testing it, see how it works. Then eventually it'll be put on the main blockchain, the mainnet. Now, Raiden is Japanese for thunder and lightning, I think. And essentially, it's quite similar to the Bitcoin Lightning Network upgrade. Now, when I'm talking upgrade, I'm talking upgrade. So Bitcoin can currently do 3 to 6 transactions per second. Maybe Ethereum can do slightly more than that, but it can't do millions per second, which is what this is looking to do. Hypothetically speaking, millions of transactions per second with confirmation times in less than a second. Now, that's pretty cool. If the market's going to care, I don't know. I can't imagine they wouldn't, but yeah, then again, I guess I could imagine that they don't. I saw this comparison between Bitcoin and Visa, and I thought it was pretty funny. I don't think it was intended to be funny. I think it's designed to be very serious. But so there's a few things that they compare Bitcoin versus MasterCard. They meant debit card from the user's comments, but if we have a look at some of the comparisons made, the account is protected against government extortion with Bitcoin, yes. For bank accounts, no, can be frozen or emptied by the government without a court order. Requirements to open an account with Bitcoin, everyone's free to use it. with MasterCard or Visa, extensive know your customer check, minimum age, usually bank account, citizenship, other requirements. What happens if the user doesn't spend the money for a few months or years? With Bitcoin, they will become richer. Kind of a biased thing to say, but past history would kind of show that that's true. Depends what years, but yeah, generally, yes. And then for bank account, the user will become poorer because inflation and fees. It was very interesting. I'll leave a link if you guys want to see the fullness of that. But yeah, it's pretty true. Bitcoin makes existing platforms look bad, very bad. The only thing that I have to give it to Visa and debit card is to do with security. So for example, buyer's protection. Now, I wouldn't say Bitcoin has very much. This poster says yes with a Bitcoin escrow service. But for example, if I want a refund for a shirt that I bought that I don't like anymore or whatever it happens to be, it doesn't work, it's definitely easier with a debit card. So I think Bitcoin as a day-to-day transaction thing to replace usual credit companies, long way to go, but that would be pretty huge if that kind of support comes. And it is. It's on the way. We already have those prepaid debit cards that are coming out from loads of companies. They do offer, at least some of them, I don't know if all of them do, at least some of them offer buyback protection. So now what is going on with Tether? Now, if you don't know what Tether is, it's a cryptocurrency that is tied to the price of $1. And it's said that for every coin that is minted, they are worth $1, will be now and forever worth $1. So essentially, they could only create the amount of coins to the dollars they receive, theoretically. And if they were to ever make more coins than they have dollars, then they would have broken their original vision for the coin and broken investor trust. A lot of people are saying that's exactly what they've done. So why are people saying that? Well, recently, Bitfinex withdrew from the USA. And that's a little strange because Bitfinex is one of the largest exchanges in existence. They claimed it was for licensing issues. However, smaller, less established exchanges have been able to get a license. So why wouldn't they want to stay there? It could literally be because they had difficulties, but it could also be something else. So there's a big blog post talking about why and the theories behind what's going on with Tether, essentially being that they are printing money and there is nothing backing it. Quite a lot like dollars as it is anyway, but that they are essentially running a fraud operation and that this could be very bad for cryptocurrencies in general because Bitfinex, should they get shut down like btc-e was recently, there's a lot of money in there. It could be really bad for cryptocurrency in general. So the hope is that they're honest, that the amount of Tether coins they've issued is backed up by USD. For if not, as long as people don't try and sell all of their Tether all at the same time, should be fine. Theoretically, it doesn't need to be backed up by dollars unless that should happen. And it can still provide a use case until that time. Whether or not that's actually the case, I'll leave that to you to decide. I personally don't know, but I will leave several links in the description so you can have a read of yourself if you're interested. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Do appreciate your time, and I will see you in the next one.